Hello everyone, welcome to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial. In this one we're going to be making a grid-based building system that you can use in your game. And the grid is expandable instantly. We're going to be making it in the construction script, and we're going to be taking the world location of the tiles of this grid and using those locations in combination with a line trace to decide where to place items. So let's start off. We're going to go into our project settings. So there's a couple of things we're going to need. First, in collision, new trace channel. I'm going to call it place trace. We'll use that for our line trace. Next, we'll need an input, and we'll call this enable trace to enable our line trace, and use that as number 2. You can put it as whatever you'd like. Hitting the keyboard icon detects the key, so that should be good for there. Next, we're going to make a blueprint class, an actor. Call this one grid actor. We'll need a second one. Call this placement object. So for the placement object, it's going to be really simple. Static mesh. Just grab a cube. Any cube is fine. And then we're just going to scale it down by half. Just like that. And bring it up a bit too. Okay, so that's all we need there. Well, that's from something else. That's from another video that I probably just uploaded. Okay, so for our grid actor, I'm going to go into the construction script. The first thing we're going to do is add in instanced static mesh. Call this floor tile. For that, I'm just going to use the plane, shape plane. I'm going to need a couple variables as well. We're going to need grid X for our X number, grid Y for the Y number. Clearly change those to integers. And we'll also need another integer for the tile size, which is going to be depending on if you want gaps in the tiles or not. If you set it to 100, there's no gaps in the tiles. 120, small gap. That's obviously the larger the number, the larger the gap between them. And let's make this, we'll go with 10 by 10, and we'll make those visible so we can toy with them in the editor, or in the once it's in the world, and we don't have to come back to the blueprints. So control grid X, subtract 1 since we're putting it through a loop. Loops are 0 based. For loop. That's going to be our last index. So we're going to take the index from there, multiply by the tile size, and I'm going to need a make transform, nope, not that transform, make transform and split that pin struct, and that's going to be our X. And then we'll do the same thing for the Y value. Highlight, Control W, duplicates. Grab grid Y and just pop it in there. No need to hold Control down since it already knows what to do. And that will be our Y location. Just like that. Alright. So, now we take our floor tile. Control, bring it in. Add instance. Connect those. And connect that to the loop body. Now when we compile, we have our grid. And one last thing that we need to do is we need a vector array. To store all the locations that we are going to need. So bring that in, Control, add. And from there, we're going to break the transform, get the floor tile, get world location. We're going to add to the other vector, but we're going to split these because we don't need the Z value. Add that there, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. And good to go. So that's our tile. Oh, one last thing actually. Since this is in the construction script, we are going to clear it before the grid's created. That way we're not creating a backlog. So with that done, we can go to our first person character and start with the line trace. So minimize that. First person character. Okay, so we need our enable trace input action. Need a Boolean value for that. Enable trace, call it the same thing. And I'm just going to create a flip-flop. And Alt. And we'll just flip it to true and false. Next, we need our event tick. Tick, tick, tick. Get our enable trace value. Control B, click, click, drag, align. Alright. We're gonna, if that's true, we're gonna delay because the tick fires really fast and we don't need it to fire that fast. We're going to get our camera and get the world, don't need the world location as well as the forward vector we're gonna need those for our line trace. The start and the end. Line trace by channel. That's going to be our start. Don't need to do anything there. For the other one though, for the end, I'm going to need to do some stuff here. Some multiplication by float. Draw a nice long line. Add them together. And that's the end. And we can draw it just so that we can see what's going on. Okay. So we need to break the hit result and get the impact point. We'll promote that to a variable because we're going to need that in a few places. We're going to need something to compare to our array of locations. And just to make sure that it's not... There we go. Quick little branch. So now we're going to create our temporary actor. We need a boolean for that. We'll call it empty spawned. And another branch there. And now we need to get our closest grid vector to get our locations here. So to do that, I'm going to get all actors of class grid actor, and we're going to get a copy and promote that to a variable. That way we can come back to it. We always have it if we need it. Next, we need to tell it what the closest distance we want between where the hit is and where the tile location is to decide whether or not to change locations. No, that's way too high. 500. That's good. Okay. We're also going to set that to 500 as well. Here. And from there, we have for each loop. We're going to get our grid reference, locations, plug it in, and then from there we need to compare our distances. So compare that to the impact point. And then so if the distance is less than our closest distance, then we're going to save this index and use that to get the location of where we want to put our object. In this case, our cube. And an integer for the index. Location index. Just like that. And I'm realizing now that I didn't set the trace channel to the one that we made. Make sure you do that. Okay. And then once that's complete, we're all done. We're going to get another copy with our index here. And we're going to set that as our last hit location. Or actually, no. Closest grid location. Connect that up to the completed for each loop. Gonna make transform, and then we're going to spawn our actor from class. That class being whatever you named your cube, which I clearly forgot what I named mine. Placement object. Didn't even put cube in it. Connect the transform up there. And then we're going to promote this to a variable. Because that'll come in handy over here if it is spawned. And our closest grid location is equal to our impact point within, let's say, 100. So that's how far we have to move before our location will change. That way it's not always spawning and deleting it all the time. And because this part's given me errors before, I'm going to check if our empty actor is valid. And if it is, we're going to destroy it. And set that to false, because our empty is no longer spawned. And I did not put that down here. Center empty spawn. There we go. So now that's spawned. We've got our functionality to handle creating and deleting it as we move around. So now we'll create the event to actually place it down in our world. So take fire, because that's mouse click. With mouse click, we're gonna ask, hey, are we trying to put stuff down? And we're like, hell yeah, we're gonna try and put stuff down. That's what we're here for. We're like, okay, well now you can't put stuff down anymore. That way we're not messing it all up. So from there, we're going to spawn actor from class. Again, our placement object class. We're going to get actor transform. Hold on here, split that, get that. The actor transform we're going to get is our empty, thank you. And The impact point, or no. The grid location is going to be where we're going to put it down. Why is it not? That's super weird. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. And then once that's been placed, we need to get rid of our guy that's hanging around, giving us the directions. Empty spawned. No, it's not spawned anymore. And then what we can do is take our grid reference and get our locations, and we can remove the index that we just placed. Remove the location at the index, and that way we can't put stuff down there anymore. So let's give this a try. Oh, you know what would help? If I put the actor in the scene. Oh man, okay, let's bring it up a little bit, yeah. And slide it back. Sure. Alright. Okay. And we're not spawning anything. Okay. Well, that's not good. It's true, yes. We're line tracing, yes. We're impacting, yes. Create a grid actor. Placement object. Is it too low? Is that why? Nope, not too low. Why aren't you not working? I specifically asked you to work, and yet you're not. All else fails, print strings. Okay, so it's definitely doing something. Oh, pending kill. That's not good. Okay, so we're not getting the Z location. So make sure you connect the Z location in the get world location Z value first off. Okay, you can see that's fine now. There we go. So there's our little guy. And you can see as I move the line trace, it moves as well. And when I click, it duplicates. Well, that's not right at all now, is it? Guess we don't need that anymore. I'll save. Why are you doing that? Maybe I need to destroy the actor first? Maybe I do. Let's find out. Nope. No. So sorry, Unreal Engine. Did not mean to upset you. Let's go like that. Like that. Okay. Let's just do this. Let's add a custom event. Call it remove by force. Like that. We'll remove by force. And then like that. Can't see how that would help, but you never know. Yeah. Is it the remove index? Yeah. Okay. That's weird. Not too sure what's going on with that. What happens if I do that? Definitely doesn't seem right. There we go. Anyways. So there you have it. It's a grid-based building system where you can use the locations of the tiles for your placement. Make it bigger, make it smaller. And yeah. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like. Always appreciated. Thank you for watching.